So don't go assuming the worst. You need to be positive, because the more stress you add to yourself in the process is just going to make your situation worse. I wanted to make a channel where I could tell people, stop freaking out. Not everything's as bad as it seems in the beginning.
Hi everyone, it's Carrie from Live Accessible, and today is the second episode of our interview series, and today's very, very special guest is Mr. Vincent Grasso from the YouTube channel Vincent Grasso, My Visually Impaired Life. So go ahead, Vincent, introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about your vision and any introductory things you want to say.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Vincent Grasso. I have my own YouTube channel, My Visually Impaired Life. My vision is like looking through wax paper, where I see stars, rainbows, and fireworks, and have peripheral vision. So I have that going for me. And I used to be a sewing machine mechanic by trade. I loved my job. I love to ride mountain bikes, play golf, stuff like that, build things, have hobbies. But a lot of that was taken away and through my vision loss, but I've tried to find ways to overcome it. I became a father through the process of losing vision loss. I was always a dad, but a dad all over again to a new baby. I bought my first house through my vision loss. A lot of things changed as I was becoming visually impaired. So a lot of adapting had to happen right away. Over time, I was told misdiagnoses and stuff like that, and it freaked me out. And I, for a year and a half, I was just utter mess, depression, anxiety, all that, and got to the point where I started getting happy again. So I wanted to make a channel where I could tell people, stop freaking out. Not everything's as bad as it seems in the beginning. So that's where I am today.
You had no vision problems before, right?
No, I had 20/20 vision my whole life.
And exactly how long ago did you start seeing symptoms of vision loss?
Okay, that's a good question, because in September of 2017, I actually started losing vision in my right eye. I was in my room watching TV and I had to scratch my face or my head, and I noticed a gray dot in my vision. It was very faint. So I went to an eye doctor, and the eye doctor then told me they didn't see anything. My eyes looked healthy. And then after that, I got sent to a specialist, and that specialist, by the time I saw the specialist, it was like a quarter of my eye covered. And then they took pictures and all that stuff, did an MRI, then it was my whole eye. And then in April...
Was it both eyes?
No, it was just the one eye. So it was just my right eye. And I worked and everything. I worked overtime. I went through it. I did injections for steroid treatments, everything to stop the progression, because they thought it was optic neuritis. And they kept telling me my vision would come back. And then they told me I had multiple sclerosis, which was wrong. But then by the time that happened, in April of 2018, I lost vision in my left eye. So, and it was at work while I was working. It was not fun. It was like all of a sudden. So.
Wow, wow. On your channel, you actually have a really long playlist and talk a lot about your vision loss and the stories and your journey through different doctors and diagnoses. But where are you at in your with the doctors now? Do they have a diagnosis, or what do you think it is?
Well, they thought first I was diagnosed with the MS, which was wrong, but then another doctor thought it was NAION, which is non-arteritic ischemic optic neuropathy, and that was going well because I took I took a test for sleep deprivation, so I was positive for moderate to severe sleep apnea at the time, and so that diagnosis seemed all right. But then I started going to the big dogs. I went to Mass Eye and Ear, and they said there's no way, I'm way too young, doesn't seem like that's it at all. They thought it was Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, which is LHON, and I took the tests and it came out negative, but there's rare strands. There's like 3 other rare strands to be tested for. Those are what I'm going for next. But now that they know it's not an emergency, I'm a healthy guy, I've done every other test under the sun, they kind of take their time. And my appointments are far in between. So my next appointment's in June, And then I'm going to be asking for more testing on LHON.
Wow, wow. And I think that's from where you came from in 2017 to now. I mean, you had to deal with a lot of different emotions. Could you just do a little bit of share what you felt?
Yes, I can. I will fully admit I cried a lot because I thought I was going to die. When you get told that you have multiple sclerosis, all you think about is a wheelchair. Now, I just got to say I was ignorant at the time. I have a couple friends that have MS, and they live just fine lives. But at the time, my mind frame was I'm going to die. I just got a house. I'm going to leave my wife with debt and my kids without a dad. I was like so freaking out over everything. And every little problem my body would have, like even if I had goosebumps, I thought like something was wrong with me because I was hyper aware of everything. And then when I was
But
doing
that's
steroids,
understandable.
yeah, and when I was doing the steroids, I was getting symptoms, I was getting side effects, and that made me believe that I had MS. And I had no side effects or symptoms before that. But yeah, so I went through a lot of stress. I was afraid I was going to lose the house. I thought they were going to back out on the house on us. I was afraid I was going to lose my job and all those things. So, but it all worked out because I have a lot of loving people in my life, and YouTube, believe it or not, helped me a lot. It did.
That's great. That's great. How are you now? What point are you at now with your vision journey? Have you taken any trainings? What have you learned? And what assistive technology do you use?
So that is one of the best things that you could ask me because I, completely by accident, got in touch with the Association for the Blind after almost walking through caution tape and into a scissor lift as an operation. I called them because I needed to get a cane and the doctor didn't know where to get one. So he told me to go to the drugstore. I went to the drugstore. They gave me the number for the Association for the Blind. And then they came to my house. They visited me. They talked to me. They got me immediately into occupational therapy. They got me immediately into mobility training, which was awesome. I'm so happy I did that because I didn't think I needed a white cane. I thought I had too much vision, and I learned real quick that I was completely wrong. One of the best things I did was that cane, and I'm now in touch with the state, so now I'm getting funding. I was on a list for a year, so now I had a low vision specialist come to my house, and she showed me a whole bunch of cool gadgets that I totally was in love with, and they're seeing what they could do for me there at no cost to me, which is awesome. And I got the OrCam from Boston, and I'm just waiting for that to come my way. They donated it to me as a holiday present, and I thought that was awesome.
Oh,
A lot of
wow. Yeah.
people, a lot of nice people. Like these are things that bring you positive, and upbeat about your situation.
That's really great. And so what would your advice be, or what kind of encouragement would you give someone going through vision loss right now?
Okay, do not think too much. Okay, there's so many things that the eyes can take, and you can lose vision from so many factors in life. So don't go assuming the worst. You need to be positive because the more stress you add to yourself in the process is just going to make your situation worse. Or on top of that, you can add something else to your problem. So I really suggest just relax and think of everything, and do not Google your issues because you're going to and you're going to flip out and you're going to think it'll worse because Google never has any good answers. So just my advice. So that was a good idea.
That is so true, though. Like everything that you read on Google, maybe like a few points are right, but the
Yeah.
rest, you really have to talk to your doctor.
Yeah, well, I will just add this. I remember going to looking up these symptoms for MS, and I was reading through all the people, what they were saying, the comments, and they're like, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die." I'm like, "No!" But it's just people are negative, negative, negative everywhere. You need positivity through your process, not negativity. So.
So you mentioned that you started your YouTube channel and you're doing a really great job. So everybody go check
Thank
out
you.
Vince's channel and I will link it in the description and in the YouTube card right here. But tell them a little bit about that, why you started YouTube and what you want to do with your channel.
Well, like I said in the beginning, I was freaking out an awful lot all the time about my vision loss, thinking the worst of everything. And then a year, I'd say about a year, because it was a year and a half since my first eye, I started saying, you know what, just let go, don't give up, but just let it ride. You know, you're still alive. I took all blood tests. I was a healthy guy, and I was like, if I had a time machine, I would change my life. I would not do half the things I did before. So I thought the best way I could help other people, because so many people helped us and me, like my family and I, through this, was make my own time machine. And I thought YouTube would be perfect. And I kept talking about it, never did it until Matt from Blind to Billionaire set a video out there that kind of, in my own way, I took it as a challenge. And here I am today, and I'm so happy to help anybody. And even if it's just one person, I'm happy, and I feel like I did my job.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And I know that you talk a lot about your vision, and also you have done quite different things because right now you're just staying at home, right?
I was retired because my job is so dangerous that
Mhm.
they had to retire me. They're actually called the safety company, so
Oh boy.
I couldn't blame them.
But you still do a lot of things. Like you have made a really cool lightsaber cane that I'm going to put a picture up here. And you're actually, are you still doing the giveaway or has it been?
Yep. The blind guy show, he won it, and
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah, he's awesome, and it's actually gonna be on its way to him, and he knows about it. I've been keeping in touch with him, and he's psyched, and that was awesome. It was fun. I need projects. I go crazy without them.
Yeah, and you also made the arcade and you're making another one. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so the arcade, I made a full-size arcade, and I was thinking about it. My son and I were at Walmart, and they had these little mini arcades during the holidays, and they were $300. And my son's like, "Oh, look at, Dad, look at this. They got these." And I said, "Oh, that's all cool and everything." I'm like, "They're so expensive." He goes, I could build something cheaper. And he said, "Well, you got your vision loss." And I said, "Oh, challenge accepted." So I sat and I thought, how could I do this? And I thought, pre-made shelving. So I had my stepson help me. We built that together, and it came out awesome. So yeah, I'd done that, and the lightsaber cane. I just need projects, or I'll go nuts.
That's so true though. Since aren't working right now, like how do you deal staying at home and not being able to always go wherever you want to? And like how do you cope having to stay at home? Like what do you do?
Well, I can be totally honest. It was really hard because I live in a very rural area. Just to go to the corner store, it takes me an hour and a half to walk there. If I want to go to Walmart or grocery store, it's literally 35 to 40-minute drive, depending on
Wow.
traffic. Yeah, so, and there's no cabs, no Ubers, no Lyft drivers where I live. I only have my wife and my father-in-law in case of emergencies. But other than that, it's just my wife. So I tend to be cooped up a lot, especially through winter. But I find ways. I go on walks a lot. My daughter loves to go on walks. I just try anything to keep myself busy with my new house. It's not as new anymore, but I try to find things I can still do. Like I put a lattice up the other day. I mean, that was not too hard to do with minimal vision. And I just try to find projects, and we play a lot of games, like board games with the family. And my friends, I have really good friends in my life. They come to visit me and stuff like that. So
I mean, I also stay at home, except like here, we do have Uber. We don't have Lyft, but we have Uber. So I can, if I really am desperate, we can. But at the same time, it's like financially, it's a lot. It can be a lot. So, I mean, just staying busy, finding projects and, finding other things to do, and especially even on the online community, YouTube takes a lot of time and effort, and also you can make a lot of friends like you.
yeah, well, thank you. I should have mentioned that. There was a couple things I didn't mention. I should have. But I do have an assisted drivers program that picks me up. and they could do up to 2 times a week, but it's very hard to get rides because nobody wants to drive out here. It's from a whole other city away. And I found out like the cab for the Future in Sight, which is the Association for the Blind where I live, they pay $60 to $80 each way to pick me up, to take me to like peer support groups. That's another thing I do, peer support groups, but I only do those once a month. I do peer support and I do a tech group at the Association for the Blind. And when it comes to at home, I do YouTube. And I love it. It's YouTube. I've learned YouTube's like a full-time job almost, except you do it for free.
You said that you have 2 kids, right? Or is it 3?
Yes. Well, I have 3, but one still lives with his mother. I have a stepson that lives with me. He's 14, and I have.
Oh, he's 14. He's going to be able to drive soon, Vincent.
Yes, it's going to be so awesome, except I'm definitely afraid to get into a big box of metal with him.
Oh, no.
But I think I'll get over it.
Maybe when he reaches 18 or 19, he'll have enough experience.
Yeah, well, he's all psyched because he thinks because I don't drive anymore, I'm gonna have to buy a nice car for him. So he thinks he's in the bag, but he's not. He's gonna have to earn it.
Yeah.
But then I have my 3-year-old daughter as well, and she stays home with me because it was costing us $200 a week for childcare. So she's with me now.
Childcare is expensive. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons I decided to stay home with little Pablo too, because I mean, your wife drives, but me and Pablo both don't drive, so we would have to find some way of paid transportation to childcare and pay for childcare, and it just didn't make any sense. So yeah, absolutely.
We're watching our bank account go down, and we were already broke. So I didn't know what to do. So, and I was deathly afraid of watching her because of my visual impairment. But man, she is a smart little cookie, and she knows more about my visual impairment than my 14-year-old. So she's been really awesome through this.
Wow. And so how do you feel like becoming and handling parenting while being visually impaired?
Well, at first, like I said, I was deathly afraid. I was afraid what happens if she fell down and hurt herself. I wouldn't be able to see the wound or what was going on, or if she was bleeding, I wouldn't be able to see that stuff. But and I'd be afraid of her choking on something. But you know what? She's adapted so fast, and we did precautions. So like on the doors of our house, we have safety locks so that she can't, even if she unlocks the handle or the top lock, there's another lock that she can't get to that's a safety lock that she can't open it without me knowing. And then we did baby gates between each room of the house so that she can't leave a room without me or asking me. So we did it that way. And I have my peripheral vision, so I always see where she is. But if she has something in her hands and I don't know, I can tell if she's super quiet. She's usually doing something sneaky.
It's always being quiet.
And so many times she said, nothing, and super quiet. And I'm like, what do you got? And she's like, nothing. And she puts her hands behind her back. And I'll be like, hand it to me. And then she'll hand me like a toy or something she's perfectly okay to have. And I'm like, why are you doing that? She just wants my attention. So, but she knows that daddy can't see very well. So I can't just look at what she has. She doesn't say, look, daddy, look. She says, look, daddy, and she puts it in my hand because she knows that I have to feel it. She's very smart in that way. So. Yeah,
wow. It's like me and my sister, except that our kids, me and my sister can still see pretty well, but they put it right on top of our face. I'm like, okay, we need it close, but not like touch on top.
Oh, my daughter does that too. I'm not do that stuff, but she knows enough to know that I need to touch it, or see it really close up.
So. And so what about your older son, the 14-year-old, and your wife? How did they react, or how are they handling your vision loss?
It was really hard on my wife. My wife and I have been together for a lot of years, and over 13 years, and it took a toll on her. My son, he was a little upset because I'm his dad, and my stepson, same way. he was taking it. But when they knew I wasn't, you know, ill and dying, they knew it was okay, and they knew we'd get through it. In fact, my stepson's always telling me he forgets that I'm even visually impaired because I can still catch him in all his sneaky deeds. So you can't get past me. So my hearing's super hearing now. But anyway, it's been an okay journey so far.
If you were speaking to someone who had a family member who was losing their
Oh,
sight,
okay.
what advice or encouragement could you give them?
Well, I'd say have patience with them. Okay, don't get frustrated with them when they're asking you multiple times, like, what did you say, or I don't see it, or you know, just have a lot of patience because they're adapting and they're changing their whole life how they do it. And also just I would totally tell them to look on YouTube and research, you know, sighted guide and how to deal with a person that is visually impaired or blind, because, you know, it's hard for people to understand what even visual impairment is. Nobody knows what it is. I didn't know just over a year ago. I was an ignorant person. I would have been that person that didn't know what to say or do, and I probably would have said the wrong thing or did the wrong thing. So, you know, those are probably what I would be telling people. So
Thank you so much, Vincent, and that's really great advice. Do you have any last words to share with the audience?
yes, I do. You guys are all awesome. I literally, when I say at the end of my videos, I love you all, I legit mean it from the heart. I might not know you from a hole in the wall, but through all our conversations on the comments section, getting to know each other, I have so much love for everybody. You know, everybody, we're all connected. You know, we might have different symptoms and stuff, but we all deal with a lot of the same stresses in life, and we get through it because we're all so strong. And, you know, just thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel, whoever has ever done it and whoever will do it in the future, because I try to talk to everybody. I don't want to just you to be a number. I want you to get to know me, and I want to get to know you. So that's all I got to say. Thank you so much, everybody.
Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. Thank you for everything that you share in your videos and for coming on here and talking to me and just everybody here. And for everybody else, definitely go check out Vincent's channel. Again, I will leave it down in the description and in the YouTube card. Go check out his channel and subscribe, like his videos, watch his videos. He's such a great and amazing person. And thank you all again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.